Welcome back. My name is Kit.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things, streaming the Rings of Power.
One pod to rule them all. One pod to find them. One pod to bring them all. And in the RSS feed,
Bind them. That's right, baby. It's the finale of season 2 of the Rings of Power.
Already?
But for us, it's so fast because we're recording this a month ago and we've binged them all.
Yeah. It's kind of nuts that we had such a strict timeline to watch these things. So it's very like, we watched it.
But what's funny is it's like, thank you, Amazon, because we needed to do that in order to get everything done for the live show and stuff.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well.
And we would have never done this on purpose. We would have just let shit fall.
Right.
So thank you.
Just do the first 7 episodes and never do the last one.
Bezos is listening and he's like, that's why I don't let people pee. I motivate them. You're welcome.
The pee bottles work. All right.
So what I want to do today, and don't forget to email streamingthingspod@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts. Patreon.com/streamingthings is where you can find all the bonus content, including all that highly sought after Game of Thrones content. You got well, by the time you're hearing this, you're balls deep in the Penguin. So you're good.
Pingween.
Yeah, Pingween. We've been doing that. That's great. I hope you're enjoying it. But what I want to do today is when we get our overall thoughts on the episode, talk about our overall thoughts on the season as a whole. How are you doing with season 2? Are you looking forward to season 3? Stuff like that. We'll do a little bit of that. But then we're going to do a scene-by-scene, play-by-play recap of the finale, followed up by everybody's favorite Old Tobeys, our finest moments in the South Farthing, our top 3 favorite moments, and then some second breakfast stuff, any kind of lore tidbits or maybe behind the scenes footage, Easter eggs, that kind of stuff. And then one performance to rule them all. Who dominated the finale and who gets the award from each of the Streaming Things hosts? That's what we're going to do. That's how you play. That's the rules. Let's do it. Only one man leaves this room.
Alive?
Pippin.
That's right. Would you like to play a game? Andy, I am curious. You watched the finale.
I did.
It's final.
Did you guys watch it?
I did.
Sweet.
I had seen it last time we recorded, remember?
Oh, yeah.
So where are you at? What are you thinking?
I thought it was awesome. A lot of the stuff that they've been building to really paid off. I particularly liked the dynamic with Adar here towards the, I guess, middle of the episode. He has been the most interesting character, I think, throughout season 2. Even though I think Celebrimbor has been stealing the show every time he's on screen.
Hello.
And the scenes between him and Sauron are among my favorite, or they are my favorite. I think that Adar has been the most interesting character. The one whose motivations I'm most curious and affected by. And I think that paid off really well. I was a little underwhelmed with the way that the Dwarven plotline paid off, but it was still great. Those are nice sunglasses, bro.
Are you the chosen one?
Yes.
Not to say that I didn't like it. I just thought I was going to get more than I did, but I think it also set up great for what's going to happen in season 3. The season overall, I think, was leaps and bounds better than the first season. And I think that they did a fantastic job of course correction. And even though they were had some changes that they had to force pretty quickly, it sounds like, with having to write out Bronwyn, I assume that there was a much different arc that we were going to get with Arondir and all the people hang out in Pelargir. Is that what the
Pelargir? Yeah. Hell yeah. You nailed it.
So I think that they did a great job of pivoting with that. They at times made me care about Numenor, which was more than I can say for last season.
A monumental feat. The Valar themselves smile upon their efforts.
And I didn't particularly care all that much about what was going on in the finale over there, but they did enough, and there was enough tickling of the balls, you know what I mean? Like, hey, you remember berries? And I enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean, overall, the finale, phenomenal, some awesome set piece moments. I've straight up ugly cried during one moment, and we'll get to that.
When Theo returned.
Yeah. I was like, fuck.
Somehow Theo returned.
Great finale. They really stuck the landing, and excellent season.
Steve.
Yeah, I mean, this is a wonderful episode. I think, like, what an emotional opener. I think the first scene of the episode is just such a big, like, whoa, they're really shooting some shots, and I love what they're doing. They're going full tilt on this, and you know, I second what Andy said about Adar. He's been such a great character this episode. Like the tragedy of that character, and like what the orc storyline is. You know, even though like they are the quote unquote antagonists, and there's still like a little bit of like, it could have been different. Oh man, isn't that tragic? And that's a really fun story to sort of watch and see happen.
Shout out Joseph Molly.
Joseph Molly. Hey, you know, we joke, but without him building the foundations, Sam Hazeldine couldn't have carried it across the finish line.
Sam
Hazeldine. You know, it's good to see Sauron and Galadriel back together. Like this whole season, they haven't really shared the screen at all. So it was good to finally see them back together and acting across from one another. Like that is a relationship that I think is very layered and very complicated. And I quite enjoy what they're doing with them on screen. I do say that I think the last quarter of the episode had a lot of moments going on that I don't think hit nearly as hard as they were hoping for, at least for me. Like I was honestly kind of disappointed with like how the Dark Wizard and the Stranger meeting came to pass, and then like the very end with Tom Bombadil, I'm like, it's nice, but like it didn't hit super hard. Like I didn't feel it. Like I felt more for a character I didn't know going into the series than I did for a character learning their name that I knew, which is kind of strange.
Mary Mac.
Yeah, I love Mary. Actually, like you look back at Mary Mac the whole time, like, someone fix his hair. And I will have to say, in regards to Numenor, I find it so ironic. I don't know how to feel about this. And you guys, I'm curious to see if you guys feel the same way. I find that my interest in the Numenor plotline skyrockets every time Kevin is on screen, because I just get so triggered by that dude. And I'm just like, someone fucking punch him. Someone hit him now. I want him to be hit. Theo, even you, get in there. But when he's off screen, I'm like, what are we doing here? I don't know. But anyway, I hope that gets better in the next season. But overall, like this is a very well done season. It's a marked improvement on the first season. And I'm really looking forward to season 3, which I assume they're going to do. But yeah. That's I love it.
They've got unlimited money.
Mr. Bezos is just like, give me more Lords of the Rings.
I like to watch it in my underwear. Well, my maid feeds me Lucky Charms that I bought from the factory.
That's the life, isn't it?
I just Amazoned Lucky Charm marshmallow only.
Same day delivery.
I drone order each spoonful to my mouth.
Oh my God.
I liked it too, guys.
What?
Woo! You know, famously, I didn't want to do this. Run a podcast or be alive.
Yeah.
And yet I'm enjoying it.
It's a non-consensual existence.
I wasn't convinced about, here's the reason. I'll tell you this. It's not like I don't rule this podcast with an iron fist or anything. This is a democracy, and I have a hard and fast way of doing things. No, a rule where it's like, I don't want to cover something I don't love, because that's not fun for the listener either. Right.
Right.
I'm not convincing. A lot of people are just watching the stuff because we're watching it and they like the show. So they're like, none of us are having a good time. And then the people that are finding the show because they're seeking out Rings of Power coverage, 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100 really love the show, and they want to just break it down further, live in that world more. And they're just going to get pissed off with somebody shitting on it all the time. Mm-hmm. That's the reason I didn't want to cover it, because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to do that to anybody. And so the patrons demanded it, and I was like, okay,
here we go.
I'm not going to lie. And yet I think it worked out really well, because I've had mostly a great time watching this show. I think 7 out of the 8 episodes were almost, I hesitate to say fantastic, but I think so.
Yeah.
And like Andy said, they course corrected a lot of feedback they got from the first season, probably. And some of the most egregious errors are still there. namely like the pacing and the Numenor plot and stuff like that. But it's almost like you're kind of locked in, you're buried in some of that.
Yeah. I think that's important to the lore of the story too. So they kind of have to tell it.
Well, it's not that they shouldn't talk about Numenor. We like Bruno and Kanto or something, but I think it's I think it's a matter of the structure of each episode. You know, I think television in general has a problem nowadays of, oh, we're just going to make 8 installments in a giant movie. And that's not what the medium of TV is.
That's incorrect pacing.
Yeah. You're supposed to have like things developing, characters get to certain places, cliffhangers at the end of each episode. There's a rhythm to television. Yeah. Otherwise, just make movies. That I think a lot of like modern day streaming television just says, fuck it.
See most Star Wars TV shows.
Yes. And it makes you feel weird when the episode's over. You're like, you just don't have that. You don't have that same, oh, I can't wait for next week vibe. You have what? So anyway, but all that is to say, I think for the most part, Rings of Power has been a very positive experience for me. There's a lot of, oh, I remember that from the Peter Jackson trilogy moment. And even though it's like very obviously kind of a fan service, fan fiction almost exercise a lot of the time, especially like a lot of the stuff at the end of this finale, it's still really fun. And I'm not taking it that seriously. But
I'm a fan, service me, baby.
Exactly. And like Steve was talking about, a lot of the stuff just hits me emotionally. You know, if I'm sitting there, if I'm crying, if I'm getting chills, fuck it. I don't have to pick apart too much else. It's like it's doing its job. I'm being moved by the characters. So that's what's most important. And ultimately, thanks to Durin and Disa and Nori more than anyone else, it hits emotionally. So I had I think is if not a home run, a triple.
Yeah. Just bounced right off the wall, but fell,
Yeah.
Almost made it.
It might be an inside the park home run.
Oh, that's even better than
depending
a home
on
run.
the runner. You think so?
Oh, yeah.
It's not as exciting.
No, it's the most exciting.
Oh, because he's gonna get
Is he gonna do it?
That's kind of how I felt. Each episode was so good. I was like, oh my God, he's still running?
Stumbled rounding second, but you made it.
Yeah. It's a 10 out of 10 first down.
And then there was like a Gina Davis thing where, like the person running was like Nori, and then she just tackled the catcher and the ball fell, and that's made it a count.
Oh, that was
League of Their Own
League of Their Own thing.
Yeah.
I was racking my brain.
You're like, Gina Davis, what does Beetlejuice have to do with this? But yeah, let's talk about it. Let's get into the meat of what happened. I think I know what you're talking about, Steve. I didn't love it either. But I was vindicated. You want to talk about hashtag somebody's always right? Kate Laser gets one now. Now, was mine, did everybody know mine? Did even Steve know mine? And he was just being silly and obtuse? Yes. But I'm still gonna.
Wait, no, you're what?
It was Gandalf.
Oh.
Steve fought me just a little bit.
Can we say for sure that the Dark Wizard is Saruman now? Or is the jury still out on that one?
I think the jury's still out. What makes you say that what makes you even ask that?
Well, because he's speaking very much like Saruman. He's calling everyone his friend.
Yeah.
And he's very much going for.
Plus he had a purple lightsaber.
Making metal albums in his 70s.
Yeah.
I hate that is Saruman, if it's Saruman. I'll tell you that. Don't you?
We'll get into it. I don't mind it. I just wish it was like.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, hey, they're ancient beings. They can go through life changes.
Do you think they can be enemies multiple times over the millennia?
Sure.
And then have Gandalf be surprised each time?
The amount of times that Andy and I have gone to war is insurmountable.
Tell me.
Yeah.
When did Sauron the Wise reason once again for madness? You relapse? Are you on the sauce?
When I look like Kieran Hines.
You saucing it, bro.
God damn it, Sauron. I told you to get off the halfling's powder. Stick to the halfling's leaf.
It's this whole thing where it's like, we got to destroy Saruman, not work with him.
He's so coy about it. He does this every 1,000 years. It's so crazy.
You have to quit Saruman.
You know I get...
But we have the same name.
I just can't quit you.
I can't quit you. Damn it. Too quick with it. God.
I really want the big D. Deceiver.
Well, the show opens with Durin walking to where his dad, also named Durin, murdered a bunch of people. Bunch of dwarves. wrecked house, if you will. And he tells Disa not to come in here no matter what. It's what I tell my wife when I go into the bathroom.
No matter what you hear, don't come in here. You're about to hear some sounds. Do not come in here.
I got a 10 o'clock meeting.
What if he went down in the cave and Disa's like, okay, he told me, like, they start screaming, okay, they're fighting, but he told me not to go down there. And then she hears, do you think that would merit her going down and investigating?
No matter what you hear.
Especially if you hear a dog.
That's what my dad likes. That's how we reach him.
That's how we get back to him. That's my favorite song.
Still in there.
There's this bit where he tells Disa to take one of the dwarves that's still alive to the healing chamber.
I want to see a dwarven healing chamber.
Is it like back to sauce? What is it called? A back to tank?
Back to sauce.
Back to sauce is what they sell at the Star Wars McDonald's.
That would be amazing. Like the Rick and Morty thing.
Szechuan sauce.
Yeah. I just thought that was like dwarf lore that we've never gotten. Like, oh, what's a healing chamber do? I mean, I guess
it's just
like
another room.
It's just an infirmary. It's just rocks.
Yeah.
It's like Empire. They're floating in tanks and shit.
They just clack rocks over their heads and it's not doing anything. They're singing in them. Yeah. They just die. It's the room where they die. And meanwhile, the Balrog is like waiting throughout this. You can see little flickers of fire and stuff down in the cave. So he basically, there's this kind of Kylo Ren moment where you think Durin the Fourth is going to kill Durin the Third. And I don't know if I have the strength to do it kind of moment. I was like, oh, do it. And he tells him like, Dad, you were always, there's this heartbreaking story that's like, Dad, be strong again. When I was a kid, you used to let me win while we were arm wrestling. You were the strongest person I've ever met. And I was like, I don't know if this is where you ugly cried, but I
ugly cried.
Devastated during, I have daddy issues. So I was like devastated by this. Because
be strong again.
When you're a little kid, your dad is like Superman to you, you know? Yeah. My dad used to rip telephone books and stuff, and I'd climb.
Used to leap tall buildings in a single bound.
It was weird, but he did it. Yeah. Just like trailers.
Check out this drive, and he just go for it.
Be strong again. Take it off, I beg you.
A dwarf should never beg.
Yeah, that was such a shitty dad reply.
And the acting there is so good because he's just like given this like 1,000-yard stare, like as he's giving them this heartfelt, like, please, Father, I love you. And just he's like, King Durin's not there anymore in the eyes. It's like, oh, it's heartbreaking. Yeah. And King Durin breaks through the wall and beckons him to come see the true wealth of the mountain. There are so many mithril veins. Behold the dynasty of Durin.
And he says, it's not our mountain, Father. You taught me that, right? With these rings, it could be, you know, takesy backsies. It's like that scene from Talladega Nights, you know, where he's like, Dad, you're the one who told me if you're not first, you're last. And I never said that. Hell, you can be second, third, fourth, even fifth.
And this is such an effective use of lighting here when they're staring at the veins of mithril, and then the bottom half of the shot turns red. Oh, it was so fucking good.
Oh, as the orange flames rising below the Balrog, yeah. And then we get the whip. The nene.
It's the Balrog.
Yeah, the Balrog comes up and then kind of like fucks his own shit up a little bit. Oh, these rocks are slippery. Yeah. Oh,
dude, the graphics for the Balrog are so fucking amazing. Good. He has those crazy fucking smoky wings. You know what I'm saying? God, dude, the production value in this show.
And then you get that. I don't know what it's called, but it's when it looks at the heat kind of like the air when something's really hot. The air shimmers in front of it. Like, oh man, it looks so dope.
Convection.
Is that what it is?
I was trying to be.
Yeah, so he kind of like climbs up a little bit and then it's like, never mind, and falls
slippery.
Back down.
Yeah. I love the idea that
you're lucky I'm drunk.
The only thing holding back a fucking Balrog is just like
gravity,
a ledge. Well, if I get a ladder, I'm getting up there.
Well, dude, gravity defeats all.
What do you think the Balrog does all day down there?
Drinks beers.
Drinking beers.
Parties with his bros, bro.
He's just drinking beers, playing Super Mario 3. getting the feather and shit.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't know the shortcuts though. He's fucking dumb.
Yeah, he can't even get a ladder.
I don't know how they do this with speed running videos. It's
Impossible. It's impossible to play.
if you come up here. That's why he's like, raw. He's never gotten past like the 3rd Yoshi level. Get good, bro.
GG.
But there's this moment after the Balrog reveals himself and he's struggling where King Durin becomes himself again.
He takes the ring off.
He tells him the truth. He says, I never let you lift your hand. It was you just getting stronger, right? I never let you win, dude. I never let you lift your hand. You never won. Let's be clear about that. You were still like bitched out majorly compared to me. But
hey, you're getting there.
And it's so, God, it crushed me. He takes off the ring and he says, forgive me, my son, King Durin, because I'm about to die. So you're going to be the king now. And then he does this, what's that dragon movie we almost watched with
Rain of Fire?
It's like Rain of Fire move, bro.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
He got the axe jumping into the air.
He should have shaved his head for this. Like,
but he actually like made contact with the Balrog sword. It just exploded them. Spoiler alert for Rain of Fire.
I've never seen Rain of Fire. Dang.
it's a great movie. Well, I don't know that. It's definitely worth watching. It's a relic, you know?
Hell yeah.
This is like pre-reconnaissance dragon movie.
We should watch that sometime.
I would love. I didn't win the poll. I wanted to.
Yeah, it would have been dope.
I love dragons, as you all know. But yeah, man. Anything else we want to say about the death of King Durin the Third?
Well, Disa and Narvi definitely didn't listen to Durin because they show up to
Well, she shows up, pulls him back. Yeah.
Yeah, and Narvi's like, "Oh, I'm here too."
She's like, I heard that awesome song playing.
Hey, dog.
Durin, were you playing a dog?
I love grind.
No dog.
Yeah, I just, this moment is incredible. 10 out of 10. Loved it. Could not have gone better. We cut to the stranger and the dark wizard. They're chatting it up, right? Manwë promised you would come. And
he's at the Valley of the Goons.
He abandoned the stick. He chose off screen to help his friend. I just thought the way they did this was weird.
Yeah,
Even in my notes, it's like there's no decisive moment. You know what I mean?
Where he's like, you know what? I'm going to do this.
I choose friendship.
The episode should have opened with him turning his back on the field of sticks and then gone to Durin and then cut to this scene or something, you know? Like, obviously we know, I guess it just makes it like a...
Or we just showed him leaving in the last episode, like, fuck this, and leave. I don't know.
Yeah, something.
You're right. The way they kind of... Because in my mind, my immediate thought was like, wait, did I miss
Exactly.
Did I miss something?
Well, it threw me off even reading the notes. I was like, oh.
Yeah,
that's right. It is how it went down.
My notes are like Gandalf in the valley. There's a horse, the wizard. Oh, he's not in the valley.
Yeah. Yeah, mine is parentheses, he abandoned the stick. But he tells him the history of the Istar, right? The Dark Wizard says 5 of us there were, right? And it was actually your idea, I think he says, to leave the uttermost west.
You convinced me to come out here.
And I was like, what's out there?
You said none of us could hope to defeat Sauron alone.
You were like, hella bitches. That's what Gandalf. So I came, been waiting on you. And you were right, by the way. And then, but he says, like, I can give you your past, tell you your name, give you a fucking dope ass stick. Plus, I got your little halfling buddies. Come on out. And then that's when the trackers come out and they're like, we're going to cut their throats. Yeah. Whoa. I didn't tell you to do that.
Hey. Whoa, what the hell?
I told you bake them cookies. They love cookies.
They love bacon pancakes.
Making bacon pancakes.
Bacon.
You misheard me. And then, you know, the tracker guy who's already been defeated by the amnesiatic wizard with no stick. My people were once kings. Fuck you. And then the dark wizard's like... And just immediately, just so without effort, kills one, right?
Mm-hmm. That was kind of underwhelming.
And the other two were like,
they were
shit.
They set him up with this badass mask, and it's like, who is this crazy sand person? He's like, you gotta fix the curse on my people's skin.
We used to be kings.
Eczema. And like, we never even get to see it, you know?
Steroid cream.
Yeah.
That's what I use.
Yeah, this was such a... Like, this was the thing that I was like the most disappointed in this episode was this sort of... I was really looking forward to the Kieran Hines, possibly Sauron, and Stranger, probably Gandalf characters uniting and just like how that would go down. And then him just being like, what's going on? Oh, I don't know. Oh, goodness me. Like, I guess that tracks for Saruman because he's always been kind of flaky and shady like that. But it was still kind of like I don't know. I didn't feel it in the moment. And then if like what you said, like Bronk, they like set that character up to have a cool backstory. Then they just they literally just cast him aside.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of was interested in what that dude's story was. Because he seemed like harsh but fair in a weird way. I don't know.
He's like, we had a really cool backstory.
I don't know. Maybe next season we'll get like one of his other buddies like, hey, Bronk was cool.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what, I don't know. But it was a little bit of a letdown.
I agree. But all we know for sure is that the tracker guy is dead, you know, and the other two run away, and maybe we'll probably see more of them. Surely we have to get more backstory on them. Surely.
I mean, he said like our people were kings, and you don't say something like that without some follow through, right?
I would hope so. And then the goon does not like the Dark Wizard, right? She's like, this guy, no stranger, that guy sucks.
Dark Wizard. That is a name I do not embrace.
I don't like it.
I ain't no Dark Wizard.
I don't like it. I don't know where that came from. And then
I hope this deed will let you feel better of me.
obviously I'm pretty cool. And they're like,
See what I did to
murder?
that
You think
guy?
murder was going to sway us? And he says, you pity him whose blade was at your throat, right? Join the dark side. He goes full Palpatine, like, and do it, see?
I remember that scene in Star Wars.
That's right. So he drops the mountain on them. And the stranger is able to help, but not before some stores get crushed. Did you notice that?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, that they did not go out well.
He was like, I should probably, sorry about that.
Oh, wait, I can
pancakes.
I forgot I also had magic. But it's still a cool scene, right? He's there to protect. If he wasn't there, they would have all died. If he was there like looking for a stick somewhere. So it's evidence that he made the right choice. But he turns down the Palpatine's offer.
Yeah, and I like the Dark Wizard's motivation for just doing this is like, hopefully losing those you care about most will give you an ounce of what Sauron will do to Middle Earth and convince you to join me. Like, that's not good negotiation, my guy.
Kind of.
That's
I mean,
shooting
like,
the hostage.
torturing Anakin helped push him toward Palpatine, you know? I get what he's doing. I've seen this movie play out before. Like the stranger could eventually maybe go to the trackers where they live and kill all of them and show up and tell.
But not just the men.
Exactly.
But the women and
he'll
children
tell that
too.
to Nori. He'll tell that to Nori.
Animals.
Yeah.
I slaughter them like animals.
Yep. And then that's what's going to drive him toward the Dark Wizard.
Obi-Wan's holding me back.
Poppy's holding me back.
Ever since she started hanging out with that nobody.
Mary Meg's just confused, rolling a blunt. What?
I'm just here for the vibes.
The bells toll in Numenor, and Pharazôn tells the people that Muriel has an ally that allowed her to bewitch the sea.
That's how she became Sea Queen.
Yeah, she put a spell on the sea. Well, normally I trust that sea monster, but he's been goddamn fake news.
Look,
It was staged.
Normally, as we all know, the sea is always right. But hear me out. What if this one time
Sea was wrong.
it wasn't?
It's because the mainstream media has gotten to the sea.
Stop the steal.
Sauron is her friend, right? So now all of the faithful, this religion that we've been taught nothing by this show about,
Yeah.
Yeah.
are now traitors.
What's it, Lord Balthazar?
Beltsagar.
Beltsagar. He's like, I got a letter. And dude's just like, Sauron? We don't get to read the letter. We don't know what's going on.
Who sent the letter?
Yeah.
Did they make up the letter? Like, I don't understand what's
I
happening.
have proof.
It's just the word Sauron in crayon with like a backwards R. Oh, shit.
Are you saying Sauron's here? It's right there, clear as purple crayon.
Hanging up on all your refrigerators.
Who wrote this? The sea?
And as we all know, the sea is always right, except for that one time earlier today. I was wrong then.
It's
right.
fascism. I like this, right? Like Pharazôn starts with a PH. Fascism starts with a PH. And therefore, that's the connection I'm drawing. They're outlawing their religion.
I do like how Pharazôn is like, as his character progresses, like he went from this, like he would like stand really tall, like I am a diplomat, blah, blah, blah.
Now he's more like,
and now he's like sort of like hunched over, like, I haven't slept in days. I haven't seen Kyle Gass in a while to do Tenacious D songs.
Are you saying he's Jack Black?
Yeah.
With the beard?
Yeah.
I'm done filming the Minecraft movie. You could have went on and on.
Oh my God.
I was like, you better not.
I am Steve. Aarion runs to warn her father. And we see this cool establishing shot of Numenor where it's like the fucking Numenor tree. The leaves are falling. Not good historically.
Not good. No, historically.
When it happens to the elves, they need to forge rings.
Yeah, their souls are dying when that's happening.
Oh boy. Aarion goes to see Elendil and she warns him in advance. He's like, I don't talk to you anymore. You're not, no daughter of mine.
The wrong kid died.
For sure. And she stops the guard from searching for her dad. And he's able to make a break for it and run away. Elendil wants to move west to he's got another son, Anarion. But Muriel wants to stay and slay. That's her only two rules. And she gives
Stay and slay.
She gives him Narsil. We've seen Narsil, I think, before. I'm not sure.
We've seen
Familiar
shards of
looking
Narsil,
sword.
Yeah.
The white flame. And he's like, I don't even know how to sword fight that well. I'm on a boat.
But she's always right.
If you'd have given me an oar, it would have made sense.
We'll use this to paddle then.
She's going to stay in town. She gets Narsil, the legendary sword.
Reclaim your lordship, and with this sword, your destiny.
That's right. Like the sea. And then the orcs are ravaging Eregion. Great camera work, by the way. Is this a one take?
It is a oneer.
It is oneer.
It's
I mean, it's
really
obviously
cool
a stitched together oneer, but
You think so? It was a fake oneer?
yeah, it's a fake oneer for sure. But it's well done.
Are you next? You're going to tell me the fucking orcs are fake?
Well, I mean, they're people dressed up as orcs.
Oh my God.
This ain't the Hobbit, bro. These are real orcs.
Dude, I love the people playing the orcs are so good because you can just tell the orcs are like, this is Christmas, best day ever.
I love this little sequence. I was so impressed by this tracking shot. And yeah, like the background actors, the orcs, everybody's doing such a good job. Galadriel is like freeing some like women folk of the town. And
The one archer does some sweet parkour.
Yeah.
yes.
That was so fucking cool. Like the one dude gets shot and then he's like shooting arrows super fast,
was sad
Legolas
he's
style.
died.
And
Jumps off
then
the roof.
Jumps off the roof, slides down into the courtyard,
Dies.
shoots off one last arrow and dies.
I was sad he got kind of bitched out after all that. those
Yeah,
moves.
I know, right?
Because it's one like orc that's seen battle never. Like
Yeah.
like
He didn't. He
He's
didn't
got
even
him.
mean to shoot him. He was like, "How do I do? Oh shit! It went off. I hit a guy.
cool.
Huzzah!"
That dude was a super badass. There's just too many of them, you know?
I like that they put some effort into like a no-name elf wrecking house because they're so good at what they do, right? They're very acrobatic folk. So I want to see more of that.
We just didn't have Elrond there to give him a name right before.
Charles,
Charles, get up now.
No, not you, Charles.
run.
In a show full of oh no that guy, we had another oh no that guy.
Yeah.
It was a little sad.
It was a cool shot though.
But the orc confronts Galadriel and she says that she's got 9 rings and a bitch ain't one, basically.
Yeah, because she's going through the secret tunnel.
Yeah.
It's the Dwarven tunnel.
The Dwarven secret tunnel. And then it's not so secret because they come out of the top of it and there's like a whole legion of orcs like,
we knew about the
we
tunnel.
knew about this the whole time. I don't know why we didn't take advantage of it, but we're here.
In hindsight, we really didn't need to dam the river and climb the walls.
Yeah, we could have just walked through here and probably taken y'all by surprise. But, hindsight's 2020. I love how he's like, because she's like, take me to Adar. And he's like, give me one good reason. I'll give you 9. But I don't really understand the whole, I don't know how many rings there are. So like,
Right. I'm waiting for the other 8 reasons.
she holds up the purse and he's like, yeah, what are the other 8? I'm confused.
Just one.
Oh, there's 9 rings in there. I mean, cool. Does Adar like rings? Does Step Adar like them?
Do I get 8 pairs of 4 legs? That'd be great. He would love 8 horses. Yeah. It's a weird chess move on her part, but she's like, okay, I'm just going to team up with Adar.
Yeah.
You got me. We cut to Sauron, who's just shooting Celebrimbor with arrows.
We got a pincushion out of it.
Really long ones from very close.
Is this the most twisted thing you've ever seen in Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Kind of the most fucked up thing.
It's so funny, though, because like it opens with just Celebrimbor looking like a porcupine, a pincushion, if you will. And he's like, he gets shot with one more. And then when it gets to the wide shot, Sauron is like right above him. Just like he's got to kind of maneuver that to even like, it's so dick.
It's fucked up, dude. And like,
oh no, look what you've done to yourself.
It was just big Ramsay Bolton vibes, you know, like he's just picking the wings off the fly. Ugh, it's awesome.
And he's like, damn, you better hurry up and tell me what I want to know because the orcs will be up here soon.
Oh yeah, he pulls the look what you did.
Look what you've done to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's always gaslighting. Always be gaslighting. Mm-hmm. ABG, baby. And but he's like, you know, the orcs are going to do crazy shit to you. This is going to be
you think
nothing.
This is fucked up.
They suffer from a blood hunger. It's a frenzy.
Yeah.
They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
So they're not in their right minds when they're in battle, I guess.
And Celebrimbor says, the rings are beyond your reach. As soon I shall be. And we get a melon drop. Melon.
Have you ever heard the word melon said with such stink?
Never. Never.
Shores of the morning, born hence by a wind you can never follow.
I like what Celebrimbor does here. You know, he says, like, you're just a whiny bitch, basically. You know what I mean?
Your only craft is treachery.
You're
so
not good
pure, it betrays the very hand that forges it.
Oh, you're so whack. Your moves are weak, babe.
Babe.
That's why you're not fam anymore, Sauron.
I thought you were so cool, but you're actually really lame.
The way you don't even
sus.
smile when you talk, whack.
Me?
I'm dope as fuck. He calls him a shadow of Morgoth, which is just hammering into Sauron's insecurities, right? Ooh. One alone shall prove your utter ruin, is what he prophesies. Frodo.
A one ring.
It's not true, though, by the way. He was with Sam. That's the whole point of the movie, is that two people.
Oh, I thought he meant one specific ring would be his downfall.
I mean, in context, no, I don't think so. But
okay.
You thought I was going to...
I foresee a fellowship.
Yeah, right.
You know, like,
and my axe. And he just starts quoting random things. What if we started doing an impression? That'd have been wild. One alone shall be your utter ruin.
Don't be hasty.
I love
He tells the whole story.
with the arrows sticking out of him. And he's like, a wizard is never late, which is kind of rude. But then...
And then you're not going to believe this. Glad he's still there.
What?
Yeah, that's when he stands up. Oh, I love her.
Oh?
I think it's interesting that Sauron says, I'll tell you one thing I'm good at. Keeping people alive. And then immediately kills Celebrimbor.
Well, he says that to him, and then Celebrimbor goes into the "You're a shadow of Morgoth" and
makes him angry.
Makes him angry.
But I'm just saying it's funny. I do have one skill, and then doesn't do it. Like maybe
because these skills are whack, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Celebrimbor's like comes back from the dead. Told ya.
Like he gets stabbed. And it's like got him
for sure. But it is cool. He has that like I don't know if it's a halberd or what, but it's
some spear like thing.
Well, a spear with a sword on the end is its own thing.
Yeah.
But he has one of those, and he fucking
it is, nerd.
He he takes the effort to like shore it up so he'll stay there, which is like extra petty.
Yeah.
And he's just like impaled, chilling there, and that's when Gus, the sad orc, finds Sauron in this position. Are you him? And Sauron is crying at the death of Celebrimbor, his only friend.
Oh, that was such a good scene.
It is.
Oh, it's like, and again, I love how he always answers like, "I have many names."
Every time, dude. But
he's got that single tear going down. Oh, beautiful.
And then he says, "What is yours,
Uruk?
I need a new friend. I need a new melon.
I need a new melon.
I'm out of melons.
Are you a master?
You should go to the store and get some.
Are you a?" I think we raided one into town. I could tell someone to get it for you.
Honeydew.
I'm having a bit of a blood frenzy over here.
Do you want to see photos of my orc baby?
I don't want you to see what I'm about to do to his body. Yeah, he meets Gus. Get on the buzz, Gus. And then we cut to Theo and Isildur.
Fuck.
Were you so sad?
I was so sad.
You were talking shit last week when we were recording, and I was like, Theo's coming back, and I knew, and I didn't want to like make you guys sad.
There were two moments in this episode where in all caps I wrote, "Character is back?" ? This was the first of two.
Mm-hmm. And Isildur's all sad. He's looking at the dagger that Estrid stabbed him with, thinking, "Oh, she penetrated me."
Good times.
And that's when Theo's like, how do you live with the death of your mom? Because it was like your fault.
I mean, I was eavesdropping and I had no right to really hear that conversation that you were having with someone else. But hey, I just want to throw it out there. I heard it. How do you deal with it, bro?
Yeah, like when my mom died, I felt bad, but it really wasn't my fault. But it sounds like it was your fault. How is
You piece of shit.
What's that like?
I mean, I thought I sucked, but then I heard your story and whoa,
It made me feel better. How do you carry it? I love the response though. You know, Isildur says poorly.
Yep.
Comes to find out, right? Like I've been navigating this grief and trauma very badly. Now, after therapy, I realized coping skills not great. And then we get a hug. They hug each other, and then Estrid comes in.
Brothers got a hug,
and he's like, "Theo, get out, fuck off." And she's like,
Estrid shows up like, "Hey, I brought Theo's diapers back. I'm here to return those."
And she tells him she's building a home with Hagen. And she's like, "But his love makes me sick." And then they kiss. Every time I think about him, I get that like a little bit of what I ate earlier comes up halfway.
Comes up.
And so I think that's bad. And then we should make out.
And the Isildur's like, yes.
I'm down with that. That's fucking amazing.
I love Haagen-Dazs, but I don't like Hagen.
Right. He hasn't teamed up with his buddy to make the iconic Dutch ice cream
Tell me when Das shows up.
Yeah.
And then we got ourselves a person worth building a home with.
We are so dumb.
Haagen-Dazs nuts.
There you go. You drove it home, Andy.
Yeah. The Holy Trinity is back, everyone.
And fucking Kevin arrives at Pelargir right as, you know, Isildur convinces.
I was shooketh. When Kevin came off that
I was like,
ship.
where's Kevin come from?
And salutations.
Because he tells Estrid, come with me back to Numenor. I'm a prince and shit. It's crazy. I don't know what I am, but I'm like important.
I'm the son of a dude that's in a cult. It's pretty cool.
People like me. That's all I'm saying. You're going to be super impressed. And she's like, I'm not even going to tell Hagen. I'm just going to leave it. It's a great idea. That'll be way less awkward than breaking up with him.
Hagen right there?
Literally.
Literally.
He's like, room for one more. And Hagen's like, hey, what?
I hate when that happens.
Oh, man, again.
And Kevin arrives. He's such a douche. He sees Isildur and he's like, oh, buddy, so glad you're alive.
Your sister's going to be so happy to know we found you.
And Beric the horse, there's a point where he compliments us. He's like, plus Beric did a bunch of battle and cool stuff. And Beric's like, stop, stop.
Yeah, I love that hero shot of the horse just like.
And my note is Hagen's like, what? Because Hagen's just in the back like, huh? What's she get on the boat for?
I didn't pack.
It's news to me. Yeah. It's news to me.
We
She's
just
leaving.
closed on our house.
I know. It's so awful. But he tells Isildur, Kevin tells Isildur, no. My father is now the king. There is no queen regent. And yours is wanted for treason. And I'll fucking kill your horse too if you keep talking shit.
And if I had it my way, your dad would be dead.
That's really rude, man.
Because I just really feel the need to just keep laying it on thicker. There is no way that my mom was incorrect about how I die.
So can my girlfriend get on the boat or do I have to leave her with her boyfriend? I'm so confused. That's what he says.
I need wood.
Yes. And he tells them, here's what you guys are going to do. We're not going to bring you supplies or food or anything that we promised. We're not going to honor the Numenorian deal that you made until you get us some wood. And that's not a euphemism. I mean timber. So as long as you haven't recently promised gigantic tree protecting immortal crazy beings that you wouldn't hurt the trees, it should be no big deal, guys.
Yeah, they're
and
just
everybody
trees.
who
They
just
don't
talked to
fight
the
back,
ends
they're just trees.
is like, that's like the worst thing you could ask us to do.
Hagen just keeps stepping back further and further into the background of the scene. He's Homer going back into the bushes.
Now, Pelargir is going to be a fortress for its soldiers. That's what, Numenor wants to just store soldiers there.
They're building an armada. That doesn't sound good.
So they're going to have to piss the Ents off. I'm calling it now. Can I make a little prediction?
I wish you would.
Of all the people that are going to kill Kevin, I feel like an Ent is most likely.
It does seem more likely now that he's in Pelargir.
Yeah. Well, he's not there anymore. He just left.
Oh, well.
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
To
he's
get
got
his
to
wood.
collect that wood.
That's right.
It could be Theo.
Theo kills Kevin or Theo gets killed by
that
an
could
Ent?
redeem him in my eyes a little.
I hope it's like a suicide mission that when Theo
Oh, jeez. Poor kid.
I like him more than I did last year.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
2 years ago, whatever it was.
it's because he's got like 3 minutes of screen time this season.
I think he's also able to experience more emotions and stuff. You know,
Sure.
a little bit of happiness, a little bit of reconciliation. We got a hug.
That's true. Brothers got a hug.
And, you know, he's not like just cowering under the shining light that is Bronwyn anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's all we got now. So the last thing I have a verse to you. The orcs.
That's why you love the I'll protect the boy. For you, my queen.
The orcs.
After all this time, always.
I can't quit you, Bronwyn. The orcs march with Galadriel, and she accepts Ador's terms.
Dutch angles are back, baby.
That they're back, and
I love how like it's a normal shot, and as soon as it cuts to Adar, and all of a sudden all the shots are crooked.
because you know things are weird now.
I love it.
He tells all the orcs to go away, but they're just like in the back watching.
Yeah, don't look at me.
You can see them in the background, like, what's going on?
I don't have good eyesight.
Why does he look?
He looks different.
That looks pretty.
He's looking good again. He shows her that he has her ring, and it is like healed him. He's just full elf again. And he's like, no, I have another name, but it's not as cool, and I want to be Adar.
Yeah, that was a name that was given to me. Adar is the name I earned. Help me earn it back.
So he gives her the ring. Take your ring, right? And she says, I have slain more of your children than any elf alive. And he says, I forgive you.
And as he's doing that, like his face is becoming corrupted again. It's such a cool effect.
It's such a good scene. And I thought back to when she first got out of the cage and all the orcs were like, ah. She's killed more of his children, you know? She's the orc slayer.
And it's sad because he when he has the ring on, he says something along the effect of like, even wounds that have endured an age can heal. And like, it's a nice little metaphor for like the relationship between orcs and elves. Like we can mend this fence. We can make things right.
As long as nothing happens, we could have a huge, just monumental shift to the good in politics in Middle Earth.
Yeah, with
in this
you
moment.
and me here, especially me, as long as I'm here, it's all good.
This is great. Nothing bad could happen. I forgive you. He wants peace, that Uruk and Elf could be friends. But then Gus, he comes up and betrays Adar.
Yeah, they like bring him up on like an orc stretcher, and poor Adar.
An orc gurney.
Yeah, orc gurney. Thank you.
It's not the thing they used to stretch out orcs. That sounds sexual.
Wow. Now my imagination's running
Steve's
wild.
like, I'm the orc stretcher.
Hold on. I need to take a minute.
What are we stretching here?
But yeah, poor Adar's like, oh my gosh, my child, are you okay?
My
like,
Gus.
We found Sauron. Gus totally wouldn't betray you, and Sauron did this to him.
Call an ambulance.
He's like, it's not too late, my son. He's like,
Not for me.
but not for me. Yeah. And he stabs Adar, and then all the orcs turn on him, and it's a total like
They Caesar him.
mirror of what they did to Sauron in the beginning of the season.
Dead on.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Oh, it's so fucking brutal.
That's what
too.
orc coups look like. It's ancient Rome in Mordor, basically. And then they're like, raise a region. Leave no elf alive. Because Sauron shows up. And he's like, good job, guys. Good stabby jobs.
And this is another sad thing, because like Adar's last words, he's just like, my children. And Sauron's like, they're not children anymore.
They're growed up.
They growed up. They can vote and buy a gun and get weed now.
And it cuts to Gus and he's like, I froed up.
I throwed up when I stabbed Adar. Are you my new step Adar?
and then Sauron's like, oh, fuck. They are literally children, I think.
Damn it.
I don't know how orcs
I
work.
made a poopy.
This episode of Streaming Things is sponsored by BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
You know, Steve, there's something I need to get off my chest.
What's that, fella?
It's been weighing on me. You know that I resigned at the day job recently, right? And I've been a little scared. There's a family to worry about. There's health insurance. There's capitalism.
Sounds like a stressful time.
But we all carry around different stressors, big and small. And it feels better when you bring something to the light and keep them bottled up. It can start to affect us negatively. And therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and to figure out how to work through whatever's weighing you down. In my case, it's all of the stress, the misery, the fear, but I had to come over here and share that with you, and I felt better. You know, that's a real thing that happened.
Yeah.
Unloading all that on you and Erica and feeling better myself.
That's sounds like my Friday night.
Sometimes you just need somebody to listen. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you're not vibing, that's completely fine. So get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/streamingthings to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/streamingthings.
It's September, and you know what that means. Fall is right around the corner, and this time of year always makes me pause and reflect on everything that I have to be thankful for, that we have to be thankful for at Streaming Things. And you know, it's been an incredible journey with the podcast. We're going to have our very first live show on October 5th next month, and honestly, we couldn't have done it without each and every one of you, our listeners, our supporters, and our friends. We are so grateful for all of you who tune in, share the show, and most importantly, support us on Patreon. Your love and generosity helps keep this show alive, growing, and becoming something even bigger. And speaking of support, we have to give a massive shout out to all of our patrons, but especially our super patrons for the month of September. So thank you, Bing Bang Boom, Albus Stinkpot, Dylan Dunkley, Maddlestat, Susie Callahan, Anthony Corona, Parmesan, Sunshine, Lady Trashley, Milady, Just Liz Calabria, Mike from New Hampshire, Brett X, E Scramo, Lil Tickler, Svento7, Jay Scramo, Bloffpum, AK Ashley Ray, Adam Busby, Big Butthorn, Conrad, Jerlatanowicz, Kaylee Sampson, Rabbit Dog in a Barbie Car, El Bander, Charlie Friday, Alexis Adler, Peaches, Emmy, Haley B, Joe Velez, Stan Valentino, Trisha Bueller, Sun-Loving Mortal, Suzanne Rode, Jen Robinson, Kloop, Kalisha Reeves, Paula Garcia, Brenda Brand, Aaron Armstrong, Kevin Strother, Ashley Powers, Stephen V, Casey McCain, and of course, Enza. Thank you all so much, and let's get back to the show.
I love this. So there's a confrontation now. He tells them, just go kill all the elves except keep the leaders alive. And Galadriel is horrified. She's trying to think of what to do next because her whole plan's kind of ruined. She's now brought the rings to Sauron. And she's like, is all of this your design? And he's like, honestly, no. It's kind of crazy. The road goes ever winding. And I just
go with the flow.
Yeah.
Look at dog chasing cars.
Everything's turning up Sauron right now, okay?
And then he blocks her attack with the crown. He's got Morgoth's crown. He wants her ring for some reason.
And she's like, it's Nenya business.
That's right. That's the name of the ring, right?
Nenya.
That's a great musical artist, though. It's in like commercials and stuff a lot. In the arms of the angel. Wait, is that?
That is, I think that's Sarah McLachlan.
It is. I get her mixed up with
Are you thinking
Enya.
of Enya? Enya?
Mm-hmm. Not to be confused with Enza.
Who sings in Lord of the Rings sometimes?
Sometimes.
Maybe it be.
Sarah McLachlan could have been used in Lord of the Rings. That would have been cool.
Sure.
We need more of that.
But they find Elrond and Gil-galad because they're the leaders that need to be kept alive as per Sauron's orders, right? And then there's this whole scene where they're like straight up book burning.
Doing some book burning.
Fahrenheit 451, you know? Mm-hmm. That's one of the foremost wonderful science fiction authors of our age. Please do not.
I'm more of a biography kind of guy.
Any World War II books? They burn the works of Celebrimbor and all the other smart people of Eregion, right?
All this knowledge is just lost. They didn't make copies.
We're not going to know how to make evil rings anymore.
No.
This is going so well. We wanted to do it again. All of it. I mean,
it's the schematic for the iPhone 15. No.
Elves never die. So this is like many, many millennia of cool shit. You know?
I told them we should have made copies.
Yeah, they didn't make copies.
Damn it. She fights. Then we cut. There's like this epic book burning.
This is the epic book burning. And guess who shows the fuck back up?
Hey guys, I'm still in the show.
Arendir. He just like does a somersault into the scene. I'm like, what? Weren't you just fucking dead?
So I was another thing I had to ignore, the Theo not coming back joke. And I never at any point thought Arondir was dead.
I thought you
can't kill a character as prominent as Arondir.
I think he could
without more fanfare.
With no fanfare like that.
He could.
You thought Ryan, the person we just met, got this epic end, and this guy who's been in 14 episodes just got meh.
Yeah, I thought it was the big like, oh, the it's dark now, like the bad guys are winning. They've got the up and up. Adar has all the, you know, and it would be like a tragic sort of end to his story. Like, I'm going out for vengeance. I'm the elf that's all about vengeance, kind of like Galadriel, but it doesn't work out for me because I'm not as cool as Galadriel. I thought, but the way he just sort of like, I'm back, guys.
Not even wounded.
Not even wounded anymore. That was when I'm like, what are we doing here?
He learned some tricks from Bronwyn.
It's true. He had some alfalfa seeds on him.
Because didn't he tell like the elves don't really need medicine? Like they just kind of
They don't get sick.
Well, they don't get sick. Yeah, but
they do get stabbed.
They have artificers. They have
what happens when they get stabbed?
It hurts a lot.
Yeah, they go owie.
That would have been so funny if he was trying to explain that to Bronwyn and she was like, and he's like, what is
Oh my God.
What do
You hit an artery.
We'll do the thing. No, we don't get sick. We can bleed out, you dumb bitch. Because that's kind of, I misunderstood it. So I imagine Bronwyn could have. Anyway, he's back. He jumps in. He's like, ha! I would also like to be arrested. But no, he helps. He saves the day. I don't know if it's in this scene, though. Doesn't it cut back to more Sauron stuff first?
Yeah. It goes back to the fight with Gladdy. And she keeps getting cut.
She does, yeah. So she fights Sauron. He turns into Halbrand. Then he turns into her. He turns into Celebrimbor.
We get sweet dual wielding with the sword and the crown. He's like catching her sword and wrapping it around and sliding his sword in. And like, it's fucking cool.
There was some cool, crown slidey stuff going on. What did you guys think of this fight overall? Were you disappointed? Did you like the choreography? Did you think it was effective?
I thought it was good overall.
I thought it was great. It was a really cool way to like kind of tie in a lot of the themes of the show and pull in like these characters and have them like speak the whole theme. Like when Celebrimbor pops up, he's like, are these not the seeds that you planted and stuff? It's like, remember these lines that we had earlier? The choreography is great. I think that it's really cool that they, kind of show off both of them being these super badasses, but obviously like Sauron is the pro here and like she keeps getting like little nicks and shit, but she's such a badass that like anybody else would have been like done in 20 seconds and she's like holding her own against the Dark Lord. It's fucking dope.
Mm-hmm. She is no man.
She is no man.
And I like how he's changing shape or changing form the whole time. Like he at one point he turns into Halbrand and is like, man, if only I could hold on to that feeling of fighting by your side again. Cause like, I love you, girl.
Yeah. Because there's a little bit of where he doesn't want to hurt her either. Right.
Yeah. He kicks away her sword and then lets her get it again. Mm-hmm. It's dope.
You can try again. And I love that his main power is he's the deceiver, right? So this is how he would fight. It's like that, the second of 3 forms for the final boss in like a game from the late 90s. Like Castlevania or something would do something like this.
I see you like to play Castlevania.
I love Symphony of the Night. Yeah, I thought it was really good too. I love that. I just wanted to, talk about it, wax about it for a little bit, guys. See where you're at on this.
Now the castle's upside down.
Go back through. That's right.
Yeah, there's that point where he kind of like, hey girl, just want to let you know, I know we're fighting now, but the door is still open if you want to come over and be on my side. And she's like, no, the door's shut. And then he gets real mad.
Of Only Murders
He's like,
in the Building.
What about the back door? Definitely not.
Definitely not. That was never open.
I wanted you to be my queen. And she says, no, the free peoples of Middle Earth will always resist you. And he gets the rings, little ring sack, all mine. All mine.
Mine?
Mine. But right at that moment down at the battle at Eregion is when the dwarves, very late, finally show up. There's only like 3 elves alive now. But he's like, dwarves! And Gil-galad's face is so funny when it cuts to him because he's been cool. Everything that kind of bothers me about that character has been gone for like 2 episodes.
Yeah, he's been a marked improvement this season.
And then he does this kind of derpy
dwarves.
Like he's almost like, ew.
Dwarves.
Dwarves.
Who invited them?
And then not Durin though. The prince is in mourning. But
was that Narvi?
Narvi showed up. Yeah.
I love the dwarven armor that they wear because they almost have like an armor plate for their beards.
Yeah,
for sure.
You got to protect that shit, you know?
The shit getting cut. Maybe it's like the braids on Dothraki, you know?
That's true.
The person with the longest beard is the most badass. Back up top on the mountain, Sauron commands Galadriel to give him her ring.
Give me your ring and definitely don't jump off that ledge.
but in her mind, he's mind talking to her,
Yes.
which is fucking cool. Like
significant.
that's how far in he is.
Yeah, he's all the way in there. And
It's so deep.
she jumps off the cliff or falls backwards, you know, however you want to put it. And Sauron is so angry that poor Gus glued when he comes up. He said, we need to retreat. Many orcs will die.
And he just stabs him.
And they're like, wow, we regret what we did 20 minutes ago.
New step out is real mean.
Yeah, we made a mistake in hindsight. It's 2020 again.
Oh no. I said it a couple episodes ago. I said whoever is writing these episodes definitely goes to therapy pretty often.
Yes.
Because before Galadriel makes the jump, she goes, "You wish to heal Middle Earth? Heal yourself." Because you can't heal other people until you take care of yourself.
That's right. That's
right?
true. That's true. You got to put you got to put the oxygen on yourself first.
And on the plane, yeah, before you assist others.
It's a common metaphor for this kind of thing. It's true.
Yeah.
Go read Atomic Habits.
And she falls hundreds and hundreds of feet. They can see her from Eregion falling.
She's okay.
Everybody looks up and the battle at Eregion from a distance, like, oh fuck, that's really high.
I do like when she hits the tree, they animate the tree to make it look like maybe like it definitely softened her landing so she doesn't hit rock full force. She's okay.
I thought it was going to be like she's wearing the ring, so she heals so quickly kind of thing.
That's probably part of it too, yeah.
But she's not even wearing the ring. It's like in the grass a few feet away.
Oh, that's right, because you took it off.
Yeah.
But it's nearby, you know.
I guess.
But Ninja's not going to let her girl go down.
She's got wounds from a Morgul blade, I think. It's very similar to what happened to Mr. Frodo.
And the wound kind of looks like the way the infection is. It looks like the eye of Sauron.
This is beyond my healing.
I didn't even see that.
Because there's the slit where the blade went in, and then it's like a circular infection that's spreading out.
Yeah. Like the eye.
Yeah. I love how Gil-galad's like, oh, the Startin is pretty powerful. I can save her. And he starts like doing it. He like turns his ring on, like if I twist it this way. And then he's like, actually, no, I can't. Actually, I tried though.
Well, and then Elrond picks up her ring and puts it on. We can. Double ring power.
Dude, that shot, like just the resignation in his face. Like, I guess we fucking need this thing.
I guess I got to wear the ring.
He's so upset.
I'm confused. I'll be honest. I'm going to say it on air. It's embarrassing. Who's wearing the third ring?
Círdan.
Yeah.
I forgot
Where the fuck has he been?
That motherfucker.
He's just boat swinging some boats.
He just gets
swinging some boats.
He's swinging that ring around to the bitches back in fucking whatever town they're in.
He's fishing.
He's working on his fish game.
They
Yeah.
love it. Look at him.
Hey guys, check this out.
Smooth. Biggest fucking waste. Like, hey, sir, have a nuke. He's like, sweet, I'm going to go fishing.
I'm going to win every
camping
bass
trip
tournament in every hick town around here.
I'm going to bring this weapon of mass destruction with me just in case I need it.
I forgot about Círdan. That's right. So Elrond, his big thing was like, I guess I'm involved. I'm implicated now in ring shenanigans.
He's a collaborator.
Oh my God. Tag me on that post. The Stewards, we cut back to them. They're sifting through the ruins. Nori's weeping. We have to help them fix it. They love this place. She heard her husband's like, oh God, he's back up now.
He's buried right there.
Yeah. And Poppy gives this epic, depressing speech that fucking hit me. Some things that are lost forever. Mm-hmm. Shit happens. It is what it is.
No matter how hard we fight, how much it hurts, it's gone forever.
And it's intercut back with the dwarves in mourning, Eregion burning down while Elrond looks on, a bunch of homeless elves, Pelargir being bitched out with Theo there. estrets
Hagar
with
holding
Hagen.
Hagen holding her hand.
Yeah.
Like all these awful, like, oh man, things suck.
Muriel
and then he's
and
like,
manacles.
hi, wife. And then cuts to her face like, I'm suffering
I'm
too.
gonna puke. Muriel and manacles, Elendil leaving Numenor, and Sauron with his hammer. I guess I'm gonna go build maybe one ring.
I think I got that much in me.
Maybe to rule them all or something. I don't know.
Yeah, her lines pull a Hagrid for sure. What's broke is broken, won't fix. That's a what's coming will come. We'll be there when it is.
I don't remember Hagrid saying that, but I like that. Poppy hugs the stranger, and she's like, "Don't be a stranger now."
Get it?
That's your name. And then the store said the goon says, "Thank you kindly, Grand Elf."
Goodbye, Grand Elf.
And then Nori's like,
Grand Elf?
well, they've never seen elves before, so they're fucking dumb.
Nori, hold the door.
What did you guys think of this?
It was a hold the door moment for sure. Like, hey, we're gonna take these words and say them just wrong enough, but you're gonna be like, oh, I see what you're doing there. Did not hit the way that I would have liked it to. If they had said like, oh, I'm glad you found your Gandalf or something, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Gan meaning his staff.
because the whole thing is he has to kind of hear it, right? Because he said you'll know it when you hear it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Steve? How did this hit?
I think in this moment where everyone's saying Grand Elf and he's just kind of subtly reacting to it, like,
Yeah,
I like where that's
I like
going.
the sound of that. It's almost there.
I don't mind this. It's the thing later on where he just goes Gandalf, right? Like it just feels weird to go from A to B so quickly without any sort of like. It feels like you skipped B and went straight to C. You know,
Well, he skipped R.
Dude, I loved when he finally says Gandalf. That's when I was ugly crying. Swear. I was just
really?
oh my God, he said it. Like straight up, like chills, started weeping.
wow. Yeah, that
Loved
moment
it.
didn't hit me at all.
Damn.
Agreed. I did not expect for that to be the ugly cry. Well, I mean, we talked about it. I know that really worked for you.
Oh, yeah.
And when Steve texted me about the finale, I was like, not sure how I feel about the Grand Elf thing. Was like my one criticism. But I understand, like talking out loud now, I'm like, well, I guess he had to hear it. And it's proximity to Gandalf that like stirred. He already knows his name. It's a memory, right?
No, yeah, that's true.
So I guess that's really what it's kind of like him just, oh, that is my name.
Was that his name, though? Didn't he have another name?
He
when
had
he
like
was,
four
like, in the
other names
Shire and
before
yada, yada?
Gandalf.
That's
yeah.
like if I had amnesia and I asked one of you guys a question and you're like, I don't know the answer to that, dude. Try ask Jeeves. And I'm like, Jeeves, Steve. I like that. That's my name.
That's what they're going to call
You're
me.
playing Minecraft maybe. And you're like, oh, I'm also Steve. But Nori tells Gandalf, I think we should split up. I'm really tired of hanging out with you. A lot of bad stuff happens. I'm not going to lie.
I do wish he would have spent like a couple episodes like, oh, my name's Grand Elf.
Just with the wrong name,
Right.
trying it on for size.
Yeah.
And then he finds his Gand just lying there.
In there.
And
The Gan found him.
he got it. Well, that's true. He got it from going to help his friends. So he goes back to Tom. It was all a test, wasn't it? I was meant to choose friendship over power. Melonship is important. I was meant to find this. He lifts up a stick.
Oh, see, I'm getting chills again.
And
I swear.
And Tom,
I love it.
Tom says a wizard does not find his staff, nor is he ever late. It finds him.
And he arrives precisely when he means to.
That's right. And he's like a wizard's name. And then he goes, Gandalf. That's what we're going to call me, isn't it? Now let the song begin.
Actually, the song hit this time.
Yeah, them singing it worked way
Yes.
better than the whatever the last one was.
And
song was a
and
lot
the
more
constellation is above. That's the one he's been looking
Yeah.
for.
He found them stars.
Yeah, well, stars are always up there. And the Dark Wizard is also looking at the stars, but he's like, fuck those stars. I hate those
I hate
stars.
those bitch ass stars.
And Narvi reports that Aregion has fallen to Durin. And
The elves call for aid.
They're heading to a valley.
that's right. Elrond lives. He's told Disa says, no. We got problems of our own.
Yeah, fuck them elves.
And the other dwarf.
Yeah, they're like, hey, all the dwarves paid your dad a lot of money. And
They
they're
want those
coming
rings.
to collect.
They want those rings. Also, there's other people that are claiming rights to the throne of Khazad-dûm. not just you. So we got all kinds of shit,
Your
right?
brother seems to be gathering support.
Who? I have a brother?
Lots of family members coming out of the woodwork that we haven't heard of before.
You're gonna Rhaenyra, not looking good for you. So Galadriel wakes to Gil-galad, the worst thing ever.
Oh, fuck.
Go right back to sleep as soon as he talks. And then
I love how he's like, "Oh, you're awake. I was enjoying your company for once."
Elrond arrives. You're in a sanctuary protected by the elven rings. I don't know where that. I'm sure that's a Easter egg that I'm not aware of. And then gives hers back to her. Arendir shows up. Here's what I'm wondering. She got stabbed, right? And it was very much it's a Morgul wound, a Morgul blade, right? It was very much the when Frodo got stabbed on Weathertop, which when he wakes up from that, it's the famous slow-mo, everybody jumping in his bed.
Yeah.
In Rivendell. And I'm wondering if that's what they're doing here. Because it's like one person at a time keeps showing up and she's like, oh, hi. That's the vibes I was getting. I don't know if it was intentional, but it kind of has to be. But then she says something about they're basically having a war council impromptu in there. We must decide between the sword or the shield. Do they fall back to Lindon to wait for the orc hordes, or do they go to Mordor and attack? And she's like, oh, don't forget what Celebrimbor said. It is not strength that overcomes darkness, but light. And the sun yet shines. And that fucking weird ass dog is there. If you look down there, did you see that?
The Afghan hound?
Yeah,
dog?
Sure.
I think that's what it is.
That's what we're going with?
I don't know. That's what I'm going. I'm thinking.
I like it. And then the elves all cheer. And this is not a moment that hit me super effectively, but.
No, so there's a couple problems with the scene. I think like overall, I enjoy it.
Sure. It's fine.
The music, the energy, the vibe of the scene gets me excited. And so like when it hits the credits, I'm like, man, season 3 is going to be fun. Like it works. But I think it's undercut by a couple different directions. First, Arondir doesn't need to be here. He feels super like, I'm here too, guys.
I am also a character.
Everything I'm adding to the scene is worthless. Again, and then that might be me feeding my thoughts of like, he should be dead feeding into this. But the way that they're cutting from elves at the river, them up top, back to the elves, I think they break the 180 rule of camera work a couple times. So when they all look up, it didn't register to me that they were looking up at them initially. Like what? Oh, are they looking at the sun? Like I thought they were looking to the
sun yet shines.
The people on the right and their left.
They're like, oh fuck, the sun does shine.
Yeah, and I was
what it looked like.
What's up there? And then they cut to a wide. I'm like, that's not at all what the layout of the land seemed in previous shots, that they're on a cliff above everybody. It's just the language of the shots didn't build up and make any coherent sense, at least in terms of background and blocking. And I will say, when the screener that we watch does have a thing at the beginning, like, hey, this episode features VFX shots that aren't finished, so maybe it'll look different, because this is very much a VFX heavy sequence here in terms of backdrops. So it might look different by the time you guys see it. But at least when I saw it, I was like, what are they? This makes no sense. Like the way everything looks. But overall, it still gets me hyped. Like, oh yeah, season 3.
My thing was, they were like, okay, which is it? Gladdy, the sword or the shield? And she's like, the sun also rises. Dope.
Great Hemingway book, but
yeah, like, so which one are we doing? The end.
We don't know. It's a cliffhanger.
Well, I feel like since he took out his sword and aimed it at the sky, they were saying sword.
You think so?
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, he didn't take out a shield and go, shield.
Shield.
I don't think he had a shield.
Well, I mean, Arondir could have got him one. He wasn't doing anything else.
Maybe he was pointing at the sun, the secret third option.
But I will say that shot, even though it felt super like hokey and cliche, like huzzah, and everybody's like, yeah, like the inner nerd in me was tickled, where it's like, yeah, these are the elves and they're ready to fight the darkness. And I was like, it just felt, I don't know, the best kind of childish.
Yeah,
I'm with it. Mm-hmm. I didn't hate it. I was just like not effective. Like there's some stuff in this episode that like rocks me. This does not rock me. My rocks are unrocked. Wait. Yeah. And that's the end of the episode. The end of the season. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I can't believe it's already over.
Now we're going to have to wait 2 years for 8 more episodes.
Yeah. What will be like a month and a half for everyone else was like just a week and a half for us.
Yeah.
It's kind of madness.
I'm tired.
Yeah, me too.
Had to squeeze it all in.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Because we lost access to our screeners today, right?
Oh,
or was it tomorrow?
I lost him a few days ago.
Yeah. And
I think ours are tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. So
goodbye, cruel world.
Our watch has ended.
But now it's time for our old Tobeys, our top 3 favorite moments, the finest moments in the South Farthing. Andy,
Yes.
it's the finale. This is a lot riding on this. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is the death of Celebrimbor. I thought that it was really, really effective to have Sauron like visibly shaken
Shooketh.
by the fire that Celebrimbor was spitting. And he was like, no, you are a prisoner to these rings, Sauron, Lord of the Rings. And like, I don't know, like, I think that was genuinely the most vulnerable we've ever seen Sauron. And obviously it was the end of an era with Celebrimbor. Like that was his final moment, and it was just super fucking effective.
Plus then we lost all right after he died. They burned everything he ever did.
Yeah,
that sucks. It'd be like if I died tomorrow and they just scrubbed the podcast, which is probably the best. But
oh man,
delete me from Discord if within an hour.
Yeah, Steve, what about you?
My number 3 is the tragedy of Adar. That scene where he seems healed, and so this ring proves that wounds that last an age can be healed. We can finally we can turn this whole like orc elvish rivalry around, as long as nothing happens to your old Adar. And then his kids, like his children, the orcs, betray him, and it's so sad because like, guys, if you had just waited a few more minutes,
yeah,
you would have gotten everything you wanted. And it's sad. And like Sam Hazeldine has been really, really incredible in the role. And I just, like you said early in the episode, Andy, Adar is one of the most fascinating characters this season. And I really, really have enjoyed the ride with him. So it was sad to see him go. I felt it in my heart. That poor guy.
There's so many great scenes in this episode. I don't even know what to do. So I'm just going to be silly. And my number 3 is that tracking shot, that one take, that oneer.
It's a dope shot.
I was very impressed. I shout out to the craft.
Parkour.
So good. I was like tickled to death by that. So that's my number 3. Andy, your number 2.
My number 2 is the Adar scene. Him looking normal was such an awesome visual twist that I did not see coming, and was way more affecting than I would have thought. Where it's like, oh my God, look at him. He's one of them, and the tragedy of the situation is so much more effective with that, where he's like, look, this was all I needed, and I could be one of you, and I do have a name, but this is my lot in life, and I accept it. And here, actually, I wasn't being a deceiver. Take your ring back. And the violence of his death was so effective. And I love that they bookend the season with that same shot, the same assassination A2 Brutus moment. Really, really great way to tie the whole season together in this tragedy. Phenomenal. And that also, the scene, ends with Sauron showing up and grabbing the crown, and we get the sweet dual wielding stuff going on. And just like, I don't know, it felt like a tragedy mixed with the beginning of the climax. It was phenomenal.
It's great. Agreed. And that's a very good point about the book ending. Like a whole season telling its own arc is always impressive.
Yeah.
Steve.
I love books. My number 2 is just a couple chucks. One last time. One upchuck the boogie to end this season. Charlie Vickers and Charles Edwards, Celebrimbor and Sauron having one last scene together. It's the most twisted thing maybe I've ever seen in Lord of the Rings, where he's got him pincushioned with arrows, and he's sort of pushing on the arrows and torturing him. And
I mean, we've seen Boromir shot with many arrows.
Yeah, but there wasn't some,
that guy
elf twink poking the the arrows around while they're stuck in there. You know That's what I'm saying? But yeah, and those two are always so good together. They bring out such great work out of each other, and the way Celebrimbor sort of like has his one last, hear me, the dying words of Celebrimbor. And he just lays out the Peter Jackson trilogy right there in front of us. You will be the Lord of the Rings. I should have been a screenwriter as well. And then Charlie Vickers is just so great at being a gaslighter, and the way he's like crying, because I really do believe that this is like his one true friend. And as Sauron talks a big game, but he really does love friends. He's just incapable of it because, as Celebrimbor lays out, he is the one being most deceived, and the treachery that his craft has is harming the person who makes it him. And it just, he's such a great character. They both are. And it's my number 2. One last time. One
ring to rule them?
Rule them all.
My number 2 is Poppy's speech, intercut with the montage of sadness that's happening across all of our characters. And so wonderfully, they take time. Like there's, thousands and thousands of immortal creatures and fae beings being wiped from life. Also, Estrid has to pretend to like this dude. Those are equal. But I get it. Like,
man, have you ever been trapped in a loveless marriage?
You ever been in a loveless marriage? It's there. I loved all that. And Poppy's speech, it was epic. And I like that kind of subversion. This is a story that historically is about black and white, very stark contrast between good and evil. It's an old school high fantasy. And I like Poppy coming in like, sometimes you can't fix it.
Yep.
Sometimes people are dead. Like that guy got crushed by a giant rock.
We're not bringing him back.
Not coming back. Now we all split up his stuff. That is how it happens.
We shouldn't feel guilty that we're happy it was him and not us.
He has a PlayStation 3. You can't get those anymore.
Oh, it's a fat one too.
Not the slim version?
No.
Backwards compatible.
Ooh.
Blu-ray player.
Those were the days. I thought that was a really surprising moment. So that's my number 2. Andy, your favorite moment of the finale?
Mine was when Gandalf gets his name. I ugly cried. I had such a physical reaction to him saying, Gandalf, that's what they're going to call me, isn't it? It just felt like a big payoff that I wanted so badly. And it just took me back to the way that I felt watching Lord of the Rings when I was 14. It felt, I don't know, it's ineffable in a way. Like the I don't know, chills, the tears, the goose pimples,
goose flesh.
I understand like the whole Grandel thing, like kind of undermines the effectiveness of the situation, and that may or may not land for some people. But him finally like getting the name affected me a lot, so it had to be my number 1.
Had to be. Steve?
My number 1 is the scene that made me ugly cry, and that is the scene between Durin and Durin at the very beginning of the episode. The first scene, like I think that first scene is so incredibly well done. The acting between the two of them, Owen Arthur and Peter Mullen, because the scene between the two throughout the season, especially when King Durin gets the ring, has been heavily coded with like a parent who has Alzheimer's and their adult child talking to them, and that story will always be really tragic and sad and make me cry. And just seeing it in my fantasy world, it goes harder. And just like when he seems like he got it right, he breaks the wall. Look at the dynasty of Durin. Look at all this mithril. Like the nerd in me is like, wow, that is a lot of mithril. That's good. They're going to make Frodo's vest. And then seeing the Balrog, which is such a cool, visually interesting creature, and it's scary and horrifying, and see King Durin's, accomplishment in his face just drain into horror. Like, what have I done? And then he finally takes off the ring, and you're stronger than me, son. And then it was ugly cry. And then you get the cool like superhero fantasy like slow motion, like we're jumping in the air without each other with an axe. Like, what was he gonna do? What was he gonna do with that thing? But it's my favorite scene in the episode.
I agree with you. That's my number 1 as well. It was fantastic for everything that you just said. I was stunned by these special effects, and the dwarf plot line and their performances have always hit me the hardest throughout this entire show. And so that was kind of like a climax of that. It's great. It's great stuff.
It's great.
Loved it so much.
It's great.
It's great.
It's great.
Which brings us to our second breakfast. Does anybody have any extra num-nums and snackies to get into?
Not really. There was a neat little moment after the Valley of the Stores is destroyed by the Dark Wizard. When they first go back to Nori picking up the pieces, she actually has Gandalf's staff just laying there in front of her, and she's pulling some like string off of it and then kind of knocks it off camera. And then shortly thereafter is when Gandalf finds that stick, picks it up and chooses it. I just thought that was a neat little visual Easter egg that probably not a lot of people will catch. But if you go back and watch it, it's a very distinct stick. So it's definitely that one.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Very distinct stick.
Mm-hmm.
Stinky stick.
The only one I have is the valley that they end up in is, I think it's pretty obvious.
Rivendell,
that's supposed to be Rivendell. Yeah, is the valley that they make it to. Because I just pulled up, just to verify that, but I pulled up the wiki on Rivendell, and Rivendell was created shortly after the destruction of Eregion. So, and then they're in a valley, and Elrond's using a ring for the first time, and he does get one of the rings. He doesn't get Nenya, but he uses the ring to protect Rivendell. Yeah, it's Nenya's business. But he uses a ring to protect Rivendell. So yeah, that's my second breakfast.
Second breakfast. I knew it was something. That makes me even more convinced that they're referencing the wake ups. Everybody who wakes up in Rivendell just has that moment. All their friends jump out. That's just a product of waking up in Rivendell.
Sam, Gimli, Legolas. Have we spoken?
Who are you?
Isn't that Legolas is the one that like doesn't have a single line of dialogue with Frodo, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I don't really have anything. I mean, we've talked about, I think since season 1, we talked about the origins of the Balrog, and way back, maybe even like during our Lord of the Rings movie coverage. I'm not sure, but I did want to talk a little. That's kind of a spoiler though. Do you think?
This is the finale. What are you spoiling?
The rest of the story. Things that happen between now and Lord of the Rings, the movies.
I vote go for it.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, hey, we'll just spoiler. Jumped. I have a time code in the
don't be a wimp.
The show notes to skip to one performance to rule them all if you don't want anything spoiled for you.
Yeah. Well, it was mentioned that Elendil was going to find his other kid, Anarion, right? And Gondor was founded by the brothers Isildur and Anarion. So I just thought that was neat. Because Gondor is like that Numenorian
architecture
outpost, kind of.
Yeah.
It's basically Romulus and Remus kind of making Rome kind of thing. So I just thought, obviously Gondor.
I didn't know about Anarion.
Yeah, he's got another kid. That's Isildur's brother.
Have we seen him?
No.
Okay. And we haven't seen Durin's brother either,
basically
right?
Daeron Targaryen.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. For sure. He's riding to Saurian somewhere. I just thought that was neat. Like we get a little drop of how Gondor is going to be founded. And then, Rohan hopefully will answer if they're ever in trouble.
Hopefully, yeah. one would hope. Gondor just has to answer for some serious questions. Where were they when the Westfold fell?
We need to know. Now it's time for our one performance to rule them all. Our favorite performance of the finale. This is personally very tough for me.
Yeah, same.
I have my choice, but it hurts.
It hurts?
Just because there's like 4 people that I really want to give it to.
Yeah.
Andy.
Yes.
Where are you falling at on this?
I'm going to have to give it to Sam Hazeldine. I don't think I had the opportunity to give it to him yet.
You didn't.
This
He's
season.
been very coy with you.
Yeah.
Stop it, Andy.
You never get this. You would never get this. I thought that I was so affected when he turns up looking all normal elfish, and that performance of like, hey, no, really, let's work together, combined with the incredible effects of him turning sadness when Glug is hurt, and then, when he's betrayed and stuff, and he's still like, the father, my children. I think that this is kind of like a Leo finally gets his Oscar moment, where like Chris said, there's
Theo?
so many people that you could give the award to, and that scene was incredible. But I want to give it to Sam Hazeldine at least once in this last time, my last opportunity.
Yeah, because he did.
Yeah.
But also, that's the same thing. Have you ever given it to Peter Mullen?
I don't know.
Have you ever given it to Charles Edwards?
Yeah, he's Brimbor. He's incredible.
He's Brimbor.
Bro, he's Brimbor. We love Brimbor.
Steve?
This is incredibly hard for me. I have a list of like 5 people that I was hoping to like whittle down to one by the time we went through this recap. Cause like I could give it to Charles Edwards again. I've already given it to him twice this season, but I think you could give it to him again this episode. I could give it to Owen Arthur again because that scene with him and Peter. I could give it to Peter Mullen again. The scene was so great. It made me ugly cry. I could give it to Morthan Clark. She was great in this episode. And this was the first episode, I think, this season that she was able to really like break out, because she's been pretty like limited this season as opposed to the previous one where she was able to do a lot more. She was in a lot more scenes last season. And I feel like they really kind of scaled her back for storyline reasons. I think she'll come back with a force next season, but
broke out like the Foo Fighters, bro.
Yeah. I don't know why I went. Kyle there. Sam Hazeldine, like you said, could give it to him, but ultimately I'm going to give it to one person that I think deserves it. It's my last chance to give it to them this season. Oh,
I'm not going to touch your hand until I know.
Yeah, I'm like, Glug. No, but this is a character that I think has worked opposite of a lot of people this season, and a lot of people, because of the scenes they're in, they're able to shine, but they are the glue that sort of holds this whole season storyline together.
Chris, for those listening, Chris just slowly brought his hand down away from the high five.
Doesn't sound like who I'm giving it to.
Oh no. Are you giving it to Glug?
No.
But I've been impressed with this actor's acting this whole season, and I think he really goes out with a bang in this one, and I'm giving it to Charlie Vickers, old Sauron himself.
Oh, me too.
Oh,
okay.
Woo! Yeah, but he works opposite of a bunch of people, and he's a lot of elves and a lot of orcs and Galadriel.
Okay. I was like mostly a Celebrimbor.
But when you look at his scenes, a lot of it is like, wow, Celebrimbor's doing great, or like they're acting off of him, and he's in a tricky position where he has to be the all-knowing deceiver.
He's deceiving the audience into thinking it's them doing the good acting, but it's
really him.
It's bouncing off of him.
But in a way, it's really impressive, because not only is he doing that, he's this vessel for other people to pour their own thoughts into, the other actors and characters, but he's adding an extra layer of depth to this character of like feeling real pain.
Like an ogre.
Like an ogre, yeah. For having to like, it sucks that I have to torture you, Celebrimbor. Like that's fucked up, but he has this genuine emotion behind it that you believe that he believes that about himself, and so he's just been wonderful this whole season. So Charlie Vickers is my pick.
Mine as well. Couldn't say it any better than that. I'm stunned.
Has he worked his way into our brains, Kit? Is he deceiving us?
He's been in there.
Andy.
Give me the ring, Chris.
Andy, we are his collaborators. You're the only one who isn't.
He's in my brain.
I fight him. Satan, I deny thee.
He's like, in my brain, he's in his Anatar form, laying on the forge, naked, but with like hair so long it covers.
Oh, I think he's getting into my brain a little bit.
You know? And I'm like, stay in there. I don't care.
He's showing you what you want. The thing you want most. That's what he's showing you.
That's so true. So true.
See, for me, my Sauron shows me like a month paid vacation on the couch eating Cheetos.
Yeah.
Oh, staycation.
Staycation, yeah.
Staycation, all I ever wanted. Don't want to move.
Don't want to get away.
That's so true. That's my preferred method as well. Just canceled a trip as we speak. Did it. It's true. But anyway, that is it. That's it. Bye. Peace out.
See ya.
That's the end of our The Rings of Power
later.
Season 2 coverage. Stay tuned. There's more Penguin coming at you. If you're, I only listen to fantasy podcasts, don't worry. Patreon.com/streaming things has got you covered with Game of Thrones content for at least another little over a year, because we're going to do the whole show, I'm sure. We're balls deep in the middle of season 2 right now. Our live show, our first ever,
just in a couple days,
takes place in a couple of days. Probably too late for you to make travel arrangements, but if you got tickets already, you're planning on coming, I cannot wait to meet you.
Hell yeah.
See you in a little bit.
Sweet.
I just spent 5 hours yesterday crafting the game that we're going to be playing at the live show.
Which, as you're listening to this, was like a month ago.
Yeah.
So don't like, oh God, they're just now working on it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Today's date is September 8th. So you're listening to this on October 3rd. So yeah, it's been like a month. So
It's going to be weird when people start referencing what I said in this episode. And I'm like, dude, I said that forever ago.
Right?
It's like a year ago.
We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for pushing me to cover the Rings of Power. It was a lot of hard work and extra scheduling and extra recording sessions, but really, really fun. I don't think I would have engaged with it on this level, and I would have missed out big time because they really did wonderful things with this season. So thank you, all my beloved friends and family who enforced this on me. But that's all the time we've got for right now. We love you very much. We've got to go return some videotapes. My name is Kit.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things, streaming the Rings of Power.
Happy streaming, melons.